Hello everyone, and happy art fight to all of you here. Yeah, if you couldn't tell, this script was made months ago, but I found it like this, and I decided to keep this in here. Hopefully it's kind of funny, probably not, just kind of depressing. Anyway, continuing on, I wanted to discuss my plush characters that you have seen in my speed paints, and the one you see in the corner, Patcher. Yes, I know I said the grimdark video would be next, but I honestly need to regain the will to do that, as I've currently been drowning in hyperfixations that have taken over my life. However, I do actually have the thumbnail created and all of the video recorded. The main thing I need to finish is the voiceover, which is going to take me a minute, but I wanted to finish this video first. Anyway, moving on. Allow me to introduce the character you have seen on screen, although I've introduced myself before. This is Patcher. Going over a bit of Patcher's past, he was originally created as a plush version of my persona. At the time, I really liked Musically when it was popular. Yes, I am that old. Using Patcher was an easy way to express my emotions very quickly because I felt like I had to post every day, even though I had no following at the time. I was 15 back then, so just keep that in mind. Also, don't bother searching for this old account, because frankly, I'm pretty sure TikTok deleted it a long time ago, because I can't find it. But I'll actually put my current one in the description. It's not much, it's still me just posting artwork, if I remember to put it in there. Over time, Parker took a backseat and didn't really appear much, let alone his plush design, until last year. I gave Parker a redesign in 2021 while I was finishing high school, and I still never really used the plush design. However, I did want to create a YouTube channel shortly after I graduated, and I was inspired by creators like Posture Specs and Yeah. Originally, I had planned to use my Transformers Prime character, Frostbite. However, due to the difficulty of his design, that wasn't really working out. Then, as I was looking through all my Sonas, I came across Parker again, and although I considered using him, I went back and remembered that he had a plush design. I found it in one of my old sketchbooks and decided to tweak it a little bit. Originally, he was going to look a bit creepier, however, that didn't really stick for very long if you couldn't tell. I also changed the colors a bit, not much, but still noticeable. I continued to keep the rabbit raccoon aesthetic that I had, however, he started out as a rabbit back then. Patcher is a mix of old and new. I chose to combine the two names as Patch and Parker, so Patcher. The colors stayed mostly the same, except I added the color purple. I adored this color when I was younger, but as I got older, I started to despise it. However, as I've grown into an adult, it has begun to grow on me more, but blue has always been one of my favorites, so I obviously had to put that in there. The brown is in relation to my natural hair color, so there isn't really anything to say there, but he's just become one of the main sonas I use now. Next, we have the oldest of them all. Well, second oldest. Doll. Doll was more meant to be a possessed voodoo dog created by another one of my characters named Omen, who was a witch. He had a cat who passed away, so he put his cat soul into a plush cat he made when he was younger. Over time, he began to join the other plush characters, but keeps his origin. He was made with 3 random colors, which I am still looking for at the time of writing this, but he was blue mainly for the longest time. But this insane change from the standing upright to now being on 4 legs is actually a lot of fun. Now, for the main OG plush story characters is my fox baby, Skip. Skip was made during a rough time in my life back in 2018, a time when I had to be hospitalized to keep myself safe, which was the end of my freshman year. After my time in the hospital, I spent some time with my grandparents where I created Skip. Skip, as well as the other plush, are inspired by a copycat created by Impalibias on Instagram. During this time, they actually had a very prominent Musically account, and they used to post under the name yam.ai, however, I can't find anything in regards to that account. Back then, there was heavy inspiration aspects to Copycat, and Doll was very much just a clone. But I am happy to say that over time, I've grown out of that and have begun to create a style more my own for these plush characters. Skip has definitely appeared in so much of my art, including a ceramics project from my sophomore year of high school. His design has mainly stayed the same, however, it's the patterns he had that really changed. Other than that, he maintains the same design overall. He's a very joyful and excitable character, and is very kind to all he meets. Due to the kids' book I wish to create for all of these guys, Skip has ADHD and autism, very much like myself. All of these topics will be discussed in this video. Now, Skip was originally just Skip. Yes, Doll existed as well as one other character I'll discuss, however, I felt bad that he never really had a friend. So I gave him one, or rather, I gave him a twin sister. Rena is also a fox and was named after the miraculous ladybug character Rena Rouge. I don't remember what her name was before. I have looked and I can't find anything. Unlike Skip, she's a very strict and angry fox, maintaining a strong facade to protect herself and the ones she loves. She has an annoyance for her twin, but she indeed loves her. Although she started out with an orange base, she moved to a more reddish color as I wanted to delve more into this rainbow aspect that I didn't know I was creating, but I created anyway. She's meant to represent children who may seem mean and tough, but are like this to protect themselves or others. Next is Piper, the origin of the rabbit-raccoon hybrid design I enjoy so much. When I created Piper, I was in a ceramics class and was heavily obsessed with the artist Casey Golden. If you haven't seen her content, please change that. She makes incredible art pieces. Description below. I will put her channel in there, as well as every other channel I mention. Anyway, one of her well-known characters is named Hatch, which for the longest time I thought was Patch, but no, its name is Hatch. Hatch is a rabbit-lemur hybrid, which, fun fact, I thought he was a rabbit-raccoon hybrid too. But I did more research, and no, he's part lemur. My plush style definitely made it so she never strayed too much into looking like Casey's character, and her personality greatly differs. I am pretty sure. I don't know at this point. Back to Piper, Holy Arceus. She was named Pepper originally, but was changed because every time I heard Pepper, I thought of the cat that lives with my mother. She possesses a very shy and anxious personality. This is a big representation of who I was back in high school. She's actually in a relationship with Skip, and their personalities balance each other out. I wish to use her to help children better understand anxiety or general nervousness seen in children in new and uncomfortable environments, or, sadly, environmental factors or abuse. Shortly after the creation of Piper, I sadly ended up back in the hospital, but only for partial patient. If you didn't know, partial patient programs allow for patients to return home, but they spend what would be a regular school day in the hospital learning coping skills and slowly dealing with their issues, but still allowed to do homework. From what I understand, this is mainly for people slowly coming out of inpatient, but people can go into partial, especially when rooms are scarce during colder months. During my time, I learned about this Japanese style named Yami Kawaii, a style in Japan meaning sick cute. The style mixes cute aesthetics and pastel colors with dark themes in regards to mental health issues. I created a character I called Sora. I didn't know about this game before I named them, before anyone asks, but I thought they deserved a companion. In came Kuro, at the time named Kufuku. If I am pronouncing that wrong, I am very sorry. He was originally named after the Japanese noun for hunger or empty stomach, and was heavily inspired by eating disorders. Many who know of Kuro's history believe this aspect will not continue into the children's book, but I very much disagree. Although a very hard topic to discuss, this is sadly something young children experience due to environmental factors and peer pressure, especially in recent years with influencers encouraging these harmful practices. I personally know someone who suffered from an eating disorder very young, and I really want more people to actually understand the depths of these conditions and show parents how important these conversations are. The next few, I don't really have much lore for them, and are mainly just to complete my rainbow. I do plan to give them more details in the future, but there really isn't much to say. Gina the giraffe, Bandy the sheep, Olive the pig, Bee the bat, and Dylan the lion are all characters I have very little lore for, but I do have plans to create more details in the future. I'm just working on it slowly. Although this character doesn't have a lot of lore, my Mince is very special to me. A couple years ago, I worked at a daycare that offered an after school and summer program for elementary students. One of the boys in this group really enjoyed my art and the characters I created, so he created a plush character of his own. He very kindly asked if I could put this character in my book, and I happily agreed. I was truly honored to have kept her close ever since, and although she was a bit more detailed, her black detailing being based on marker stains, I simplified it to the best of my ability. I wanted to keep the original design as much as possible. It's just for simplicity's sake, especially if I have to draw her over and over again. I hold her very dear to my heart, and I thank him for allowing me the chance to use this character in my children's book. Thank you so much. And lastly, we have. Yeah, no, I can't say its name, but this bear has been around for the longest. I would give you more details about it, but for some reason, everything becomes static and gives up. What I can tell you is it will definitely not be in my children's book for obvious reasons. Maybe over time we can learn more, but for now, we're stuck with little knowledge. And that is all of my plush characters wrapped up into this video. Holy Arceus, this was a lot, and my throat hurts a lot. But I'm glad to have this all out there for people to see, and it'll make it easier for my brain, honestly. It makes me very happy to have come so far in my art journey, and have used my life experiences to find ways to help not only myself, but others as well in the future. Thank you for listening to all of this, and I'm sorry for the wait. Have a good night, and hopefully I'll see you later. Bye-bye!